double tap will start driving on your intelligent cruise assist. This vehicle is available under a thing called Coffee OS, but it just feels a little bit more solid and handles a little bit more engaging. 1, 2, 3. Woohoo! Hey guys, this is Jerry, welcome to the channel. Today we are driving the all-new GWM Haval H6 Hi4, which is the plug-in hybrid version for the H6 lineup. This vehicle represents really good value for your budget if you're looking for a plug-in hybrid vehicle that does everything plus the all-wheel drive system. Now, the H6 PHEV starts from $50,990 plus ORC in the new user market. This one is the all-wheel drive ultra spec that sits just at $53,990 plus ORC. Now, the bigger change from this to the HEV is the interior part, which we're going to go through. First thing, let's look at the exterior. All right. So from the exterior, the new H6 plug-in hybrid is identical to the standard HEV version. This is based on the ultra spec from the HEV version. At the front, we're going to get the daytime running lights, which is LED, and full LED bulbs over there. This is new grille available on the Haval H6. There are some sort of chrome over here and then black trims inside. I do love the new front, that looks quite nice. On the side, this is the 19-inch black wheels. It's factory blackout, which looks nice. And then over here, we get half-color black mirrors, black trims, privacy glass, and black roof rails on the top. Now, coming to the back, this is also a really nice design for the new GWM. It may not look as interesting as the last generation for the running tail light bars, but it's not too bad. I love that it extends out at the front over here. Big logo on the top, H6, PHEV, and Hi4, which is only available on the all-wheel drive system, of course, for this variant. Now, if you're looking to purchase one in the New Zealand market, reach out to Abipokoi. I'll leave all their contact details on top of the screen and also in the description. Now, what do you think about the exterior? Please let me know. In terms of dimension, it is just over 4.7 meters long, width is over 1.86 meters, and the wheelbase stretched to just over 2.7 meters long. So it's not a small car, it is still a very good size for the family dimensions. Now, let's look at the tailgate. Keyless entry, keyless button is all available on the H6 range. You are getting 560 liters boot space, not small, very square, very boxy shape, so that works really, really well. Charging point over here, and also some tire mobility kits underneath. So there's no additional storage, by the way. You are able to drop the rear seats, 40-60 split. That creates more than 1,700 liters of the boot space. On the right, we're going to find the charging cover over here. It supports Type 2 and CCS fast charging. Type 2 up to 6.6 kilowatts, CCS up to 34 kilowatts. Also, it supports vehicle load-to-load function that allows you to charge some other devices if you are in a countryside or if you run out of power at your home. The vehicle battery is 19 kilowatt-hour battery. That means up to about 100 kilometers on the NEDC cycle. Now, for the second row, this is very spacious, just like the Haval H6. This has been set to my driving position at about 178 centimeters tall. I've got great amount of legroom, great amount of foot space. The floor is nearly flat with a very small hump underneath. Pockets over here, air vents over there, USB chargings underneath, and also an armrest just down there. And to my sitting position, I've got great clearance on top of my head as well. Let's close the door. Material-wise, plastic on top, some material over here, leather finish over here, and plastic underneath. But let's dive in at the front. All right, this is how the interior looks like on the new H6. The seats is identical to the last generation, also the H6 HEV. Even the panels on the side looks familiar, but the steering is very different. First thing, you are going to get the gear shifter on the right. Not only you have the gear shifter, if you push it to drive, if you are moving, press down once, will start driving on your adaptive cruise control. Double tap will start driving on your intelligent cruise assist. So you can use that as your cruise control lever. And once you start driving on cruise control, the buttons on the left will use to change your speed and also distance left and right. where the buttons on the right will change your volume and also music source, and also push and hold. You can change the right dashboard panel. Yeah, which is okay. That's the main difference along the steering and also that dashboard display, by the way. In terms of the dashboard, that's a 10.25 inch, which looks okay. And then you also get a nice HUD head-up display at the front as well. Now coming to the center, this is also a major change from the GWM range. This is a very new system, very new screen compared to all the other GWM vehicles. This vehicle is available under a thing called Coffee OS, which is actually from the Chinese version local market. So that means you actually get really cool graphics on the vehicle. You can do wallpapers, you can do 3D. Under the wallpapers, you can swap left and right to change whatever you like. Over here, you can also do a drop-down menu that allows you to change everything about the vehicle, driving, information, energy, battery, and things like that. Over here, you can also click the vehicle to go to the common, to go to vehicle, driving, entire driving. The graphic looks really, really nice, and it's pretty easy to find what you need to set up, and there's simply too many setup for me to go through. But anyway, you are going to get many details and many features that's going to be available on this vehicle. Now, speaking of the details, we can also click over here to check all your apps that's available on the vehicle. Things you will need is your battery management. You can do vehicle to load, you can do schedule charging, you can also do active installation and charging installation on this vehicle. You do also have heated seats and cooling seats on the vehicle, plus quick aircon changes and things. You, of course, do have the voice command. Along with that, the 360 view camera. They do look very clear for what it is and for what the vehicle needs. One thing this car does not have compared to the standard H6 hybrid is a button located over here that allows the vehicle to park itself. So this car actually does not come with it. But it comes with the full package anyway, so I can understand that. Along with that, these also have wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, by the way. Underneath, some quick buttons for your air conditioning button, and over here, that's your wireless phone charging pad, plus 2 cup holders, some storage over here, press here, large center console, and also glove box on the side, which is decent. Underneath, there's also some clearance for your cables, for your storage needs and things. Looking around the side, top material is much better than the rear seats. They are much softer. Some material over here, leather material over here, panels over here. Finish is all right. It's not too bad, but it's similar to the last generation as we said. Now let's get this on the road to give it a drive. Now first thing, visibility, side is pretty good, front is all right. Here is a little bit strength, but it's okay. Side is okay, rear is actually pretty good, but the rear windscreen is quite small. Anyway, let's get it on road. This is the gear selector, by the way, and there is no physical button to switch you off or switch on your handbrake unless you go to this vehicle, release and lock over here for the electronic parking brake. Along with that, also your lightings, there's no switch for your lightings, it's all over here. There is only an auto or non-auto, and that's it. You can't manually switch to other things apart from the auto. So yeah, anyway, we're good to go. In terms of drive modes, there's tons of drive modes that we can select. Normal, Eco, Sport, and along with that, this Hi4 does have a off-road capability, so that's available too. All right, we're on the road. Let's quickly go through the powertrain on this vehicle. So it comes with a 4-cylinder, 1.5-liter turbocharged petrol motor at the front that can take 91. That's good news for the New Zealand market. That produces 110 kilowatts of power. That is actually the same motor from the standard H6 hybrid non-plug-in. Now the vehicle of this all-wheel drive variant comes with 2 EV motors. One in the front producing 80 kilowatts, one in the back producing 150 kilowatts of power. Combined, you are going to receive a peak power at 268 kilowatts, where the Newton meters goes up to a whopping 760 Newton meters of torque. Now, the acceleration factory claimed from 0 to 100 is 4.8 seconds. That's really fast for what this vehicle stands for. Thanks to its, not too heavy battery, also a really large amount of motors, combined power and things like that. But in terms of normal driving, if you're driving at normal mode, this is very easy, very smooth to drive. Right now we have plenty of good charge, so we actually changed the vehicle charge at EV priority, so it's just purely EV in most cases. If you swipe down the screen, you can change to pure EV, so it never engage the non-EV, but EV priority is what the standard mode you go for. Or you can go to HEV. That means whenever you go low, it will just automatically shift back to petrol motor to give you some more momentum, to also to reserve your battery charge level. Now, in terms of battery charge level, you can do energy regeneration and weak or normal or high. So that allows you to change to 3 levels how you're regen braking. On top of that, you can also do the e-pedal that allows the vehicle to do single pedal drive. There's just simply tons of mode to change, by the way, let's make it short. Now, in terms of the suspension setup, the vehicle does have MacPherson struts at the front, multi-link suspension at the back. Although it is identical suspension compared to the H6 hybrid, I do feel this car drives just a little bit better than H6 hybrid. I'm not sure why. Maybe it's due to the local tuning, maybe it's due to a little bit more heavy weight from the battery, but it just feels a little bit more solid and handles a little bit more engaging. Also, maybe this is the all-wheel drive, that's why it does offer us a really good, nice handling on the corner. You can see it hugs on the corner easily. The steering doesn't feel super responsive, but if you change to sport mode, at least it gets quite stiff, quite solid around the certain areas. And the acceleration on the pedal is smooth and quite aggressive. If you go to sport mode, there's tons of torque behind the wheel that's waiting for you to kick back in. Now, going back to the suspension setup, GWM obviously has bought the Australian one of the locations to set up local tunings for the New Zealand or Australian market. And I'm not sure if this car has done through all those tunings for locals, but I do think this is the right setup for the local suspension. It's very agile, it's very responsive for the steering. There's plenty of torque behind it. At the same time, it is still relatively comfy. It may not be as soft as the standard H6 HEV, but you're going to feel that this is a good all-rounder vehicle in terms of a driving experience, and I do enjoy it so far. You can see going through a big bump just right now. It doesn't even shake that much. It simply go back to what it needs to be for what it needs as well. Now let's go to the sport mode. We can do better throttle response. All right, now we are on sport mode, HEV. Let's do a quick test on the acceleration. 1, 2, 3. Whoo! That's got some response, and that was pretty good. That feels nice. All right, we're going to go on motorway soon, so let's do another acceleration to 100. See how that goes. And wow, that's some traction issues over here around that corner, but yeah, it is responsive on the pedal, and you can feel it is a sporty performance car when it comes to power and torque. But don't worry, if you just drive around city, you don't need that amount of power. It just simply gives you a nice traction, and yeah, it does give you a really nice feel around quiet roads and city roundabouts and things like that. All right, you're going to see this handling around here. Small amount body roll when you push it to the limits, and which is understandable for the size of the car, but overall, it's not too bad. All right, let's do some acceleration over here. 1, 2, 3. You can see the petrol motor eventually kicked in under HEV mode, but under about 60 k's or so, you are going to get pure EV acceleration and pure EV driving. And majority of the time, to be fair, this car will be also pure EV driving, even if your battery charge is on the lower level. So that means the vehicle does work as a small generator to, give a bit more EV driving style. And yeah, that's that part of the acceleration. Now, since we're on motorway, let's quickly test the cruise control. Push down, and I'll go up on the speed, 100 now, and double click. ICC, that means wheel balance, just like that. That's how to use the cruise control on the new Haval H6 PHEV. Alright, what are my thoughts about the new PHEV Haval H6? I really love it, to be fair. I've got a good impression of the new screen and new screen over here. I know for someone it's probably not easy to get used to from the start, but once you get used to it, there's tons of features you can play with. You can personalize everything as well. I love the driving part. Surprisingly, it just is a nicer experience compared to the H6 HEV. Not saying the HEV is bad in some way, but this feels really good, to be fair. Another thing, I think the price sits right, just over $50,000 for the two-wheel drive and just over $53,990 for the four-wheel drive. It stands a good value on the market with its LFP battery, by the way. So yeah, I do enjoy it. I hope it sells well. And if you are looking for one, please let me know in the comments. Maybe Abby Pugoi will be able to assist you on getting one for yourself. Now, if you found my video helpful, the best way to support the channel is to subscribe, like. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next video.